Hey, what's up guys, it's Disturbed. Now before I say anything, I want to say I'm sorry for my voice. I'm actually recovering from a sickness and my throat is kind of sore. But anyways, today I'm going to be showing you guys my God roll ACR, and I'm going to be talking about which talents are the best when choosing an assault rifle. I might make a separate video in the future talking about which talents are the absolute best and like going super in depth with it, so please let me know if you'd like to see that in the comments below. Alright, so starting off, this is my ACR. It's a 204, which is awesome, and its first talent is Brutal. Brutal is probably one of the best talents you can get because it increases your headshot damage by over 24%, which is just a huge damage increase, and when fighting NPCs, a lot of your shots are headshots, so Brutal is an amazing talent to have. The next talent that's on my ACR is Deadly, and it increases my critical hit damage by 27%. Not much I can say about it other than the fact that it's a flat out crit damage increase, which is great to have, and it's one of the best talents in the game. And for the last talent, I have Destructive, which increases my weapon's armor destruction value by 18%. Now, before all you PvPers start commenting, this isn't a God roll, Destructive doesn't work against players. Yeah, I know it doesn't work against players. I'm mainly calling this a God roll against NPCs. So if you want a God roll for PvP, it would be more like something like Brutal, Deadly, and Responsive, but I'll get into that in a minute. So Destructive. This talent is probably one of the most underrated talents because not many people know what it does and know how good it is, but it actually increases your enemy armor damage by 18%, which against NPCs is a flat out 18% damage bonus, which is just insane. This talent is arguably better than Brutal is because Brutal only gives 6% more damage than Destructive does, and I highly doubt 100% of your shots are headshots, so Destructive against NPCs is more likely better than Brutal in every situation. I might expand on this in a later video, but I hope you get what I'm saying. Now that you know some of the best talents, I'm going to list what I think some of the best talents you can get are, so you guys know which are the best when picking your weapon. I'm not putting these in a specific order because I would have to do a lot more extensive testing to determine that. I'm just going to list all the best talents. So first off, there's Destructive, which I said before is amazing for the 18% enemy armor damage. There's Deadly, which increases your crit damage by 27%. Brutal, which increases your headshot damage by 24.5%. And there's also Responsive, which is really good as well, and it increases your damage by 13.5% when closer than 10 meters to your target. 10 meters is actually a pretty good range, so you have a bonus of increased damage up almost all of the time. Next we have Predatory, which is really good in PvE against NPCs. It heals you for a living shitload because of how it works. Next is Unforgiving, which is actually pretty underrated, but it increases your damage depending upon how much health you have. And considering that NPCs in the Dark Zone do so much damage, now you're often shooting enemies while at low health. And you know, you could have like a 10% or 23% damage increase, which is actually pretty big. Stable is also really good for assault rifles because they often have a lot of recoil, and it's not the best talent, but it's still nice to have to control your recoil. Another great talent is Fierce, and it increases your crit chance by 8.5%. It's really good for hitting crit cap, but it's only good if it's a third talent because you don't want to be stacking electronics in order to get it. Adept is pretty good as it increases your crit chance by 8.5% after using a skill. It only lasts for 5 seconds, so it's not the best, but it's still decent. Another good one revolving around crit chance is Vicious, and it increases your crit chance by 13.5% while you're at full health, which is actually pretty nice. It's definitely not the best because you're not always at full health, but it's good to have. Another good talent is Competent, which increases your damage by 13.5% for 10 seconds after using a skill, which is actually pretty good, but it requires a lot of electronics to get, so best to get it as a third talent. Self-Preserved is really good. It heals you for 3% of the damage dealt by your crits, so against NPCs it's really nice to have, and it gives you a steady amount of healing. And lastly, there's Ferocious, which increases your damage against elites and named NPCs by 10%, but you have to get it in the third slot for it to be useful, because again, you don't want to be stacking that electronics. And it only works against yellow NPCs, but it's still a pretty good talent. So that's it for all of the best talents. I would say that Prepared is good, but 40 meters is actually a lot longer of a distance than you would think, and you'd have better luck shooting with a sniper at that range as opposed to an assault rifle with like a crap load of recoil. So it's not the best talent to have, and I didn't think that it was worthy of putting it on this list. Either way, when looking for an assault rifle, try to find one with a good balance of these talents. You don't want one with something like Self-Preserved, Predatory, and Adept because your damage is just going to be really crappy and it's not a good balance. But if you find a good mix of talents like something like Brutal, Adept, and Predatory, it's a really good gun because it has a lot of things in different categories and it'll just help you out in a lot of situations. But anyways, I hope this video helped, and good luck finding a God roll, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please drop a like and subscribe for videos similar to this one. I'll see you later, guys.